What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you at the very least 3 times a week over the digital airwaves of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. Let me always pause to take a moment, as I always do, to just thank my subscribers and followers. We've now eclipsed over 718,000 subscribers and over 1.22 million downloads on iHeartRadio. So I can't thank y'all enough for the love and support. Keep it coming, and I'm going to keep on coming. To continue to like and follow the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on YouTube, just click the bell to get notified of all of our new content, and boom, you too shall consider yourself the latest member of the Stephen A. Smith Show family. And while you're out doing that, please don't forget to grab a copy of my New York Times best-selling book, Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes, now in paperback. Go to straightshooterbook.com. Once again, that's straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. Let me get started because I've seen social media. I mean, I'm pretty much on vacation from my day job. Worked a lot this year, got some time off, but I'm not going to stop doing my podcast, obviously, not just because I have obligations to iHeart, but also because of my YouTube following, and it continues to grow, and I appreciate the love and support, and I know people expect to hear from me, so I don't mind doing that at all. Been taking a lot of heat over the last few days, and so that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with some criticism I've received since I had the audacity, the unmitigated gall, to question the BET Awards rationale last week in paying tribute to the one and only OJ Simpson during their in memoriam segment. The segment honored the likes of Clarence Avant, Willie Mays, Richard Roundtree, Carl Weathers, and co-founder of the Isley Brothers, Mr. Rudolph Isley himself, just to name a few people, y'all. But anyway, now, people in the entertainment community have taken to social media to comment on what I said about BET's inclusion of OJ Simpson. By the way, the inclusion of OJ Simpson, the guy found liable for double murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman, although during the civil trial. But before I even go any further, I just want y'all to take a look at just some of the things that I've had to deal with over the week, over the last few days, I should say the weekend, over the last few days, since the 4th of July was yesterday. Just take a look at this before I respond, so you'll know where I'm coming from.
You mad because BT is celebrating OJ? Who else gonna celebrate him? Are you fucking stupid? He was found innocent in the court of laws, the white laws.
They have these stooges like Half Stephen from Django Smith, perched up to do their work. They put them on national TV. They put them on these big stages where they can have a big audience, where their words can have some influence. And they use these little monkeys like Stephen A. Smith to say the things that they can't say publicly.
You know, I'll confess, sometimes it's really, really hard to not let that other part of this brother out of me. You know, there's just certain shit you don't say about black people. Because to Willie D, to Faison, make no mistake about it, I'm not scared. Not even a little bit. But unlike y'all, I'm going to remember that y'all are brothers. And so I'm not going to go there. Willie D, I see that you've grown your following on YouTube. I think you have about 1 million subscribers. I hope everybody continues to listen to your show. I hope you continue to grow. Cat Williams interview, following up Shannon Sharp, that was fire. Props to you, bro. Faison, you've been around for years. The Replacements, Players Club, you know, so many television shows and movies you've been involved in. I wish you nothing but the best. Willie D, I'll get back to you in a second. I'm going to attack this one piece at a time so everybody knows where I'm coming from, and I'm going to strive to restrain myself from bringing out that dude in me. I'm going to strive to do it. Just a few days ago, rather, on this show, I believe it was Monday, if I remember correctly, I brought up the BET Awards. I understand that in recent memory, it's been a rating success. BET is no longer owned by Mr. Bob Johnson, or black folks for that matter. It's basically being run by Paramount Global CBS Entertainment Group. It's being run by Scott Mills, president and CEO of BET Media Group. Connie, a.k.a. Constance Orlando. She's an award-winning media executive, recently named Executive VP of Specials, Music Programming, and Music Strategy at BET Networks. And I made sure to highlight that these two black folks, for the most part, are doing an outstanding job, right? And by the way, I did it for Tuesday's show. I apologize. Monday's show was different. That's when I talked about Will Smith and Usher. Tuesday was when I talked about this OJ stuff. So I apologize for just correcting myself. But anyway, let me get back to the point. While going on about the BET Awards, never mind that I was on the phone with my daughter and I made her turn the channel because you had people with their asses out twerking all over the damn place, and I didn't think that was appropriate. But that's just me. Still didn't stop me from acknowledging the fact that BET has been very widely successful, and they're doing a great job. I just disagreed with them mentioning OJ Simpson in memoriam. From what I could tell, most of the crowd would agree with me because most of them grew silent. Some appeared aghast when his picture popped up on the screen as Tia Mowry was talking about folks who needed to be celebrated because of their contributions and their black excellence. And I basically talked about how most people believe he's a double murderer. Was he acquitted? Yes. That is true. During a criminal trial. He was found guilty during a civil trial where he was ordered to pay $33.5 million to the Goldman family, which he probably never did, according to numerous reports anyway. And that caused the uproar because I talked about it being inappropriate and I thought it was a bad decision on the part of the BET Awards. And that is what has caused this uproar. So Faison, his last name is Love, by the way. I don't know if y'all noticed that or not, because the way he came at me, clearly that didn't look like there was love in the place at all, but Faison Love. He speaks up and he speaks out and, you know, he's coming at me and am I stupid? Respectfully, my brother, are you? I know what the hell I said. I stand by it. I'm not budging 1 inch. See, what people miss is the trial was televised. This ain't some shit we read about and then moved on from, or we heard about and moved on from. The trial was for 8 months. There are a plethora, if not an inordinate amount of people throughout the years in the entertainment world, in the comedic world, and beyond, in the political stratosphere, in corporate America, at the water coolers, regular people talking. It doesn't matter where you go. There's no one on the planet that was devoid of an opinion about OJ Simpson. Me having one is not a crime. Do I think he was guilty? Yes. It was on the preponderance of evidence that we ultimately was able to see. Did I excoriate the jurors for finding him not guilty? No, because I'm a black man. And I know what the LAPD was doing. And I know all about the Rodney King situation that had taken place just a couple of years earlier when he was damn near beaten within an inch of his life. I was mad at him when he was sitting up there, can we all just get along? Who the hell wanted to get along with anybody associated with the LAPD or supportive of the LAPD with what they were doing to black people? We know this. When OJ was in the white Bronco, being chased during the NBA Finals when the Houston Rockets were going up against the New York Knicks, 95 million people witnessed it live. It was a ratings bonanza. When he ultimately was found not guilty, after Johnny Cochran, the late, great Johnny Cochran, had said, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. 150 million people watched. So this ain't a typical, oh, this man got off, but I know he's guilty, but I don't know a damn thing. But I just have an opinion. No, we saw it. We watched the trial. And based on the preponderance of evidence, I believe he was guilty. Because we watched it on television. Just like we watched Mark Furman plead the fifth when confronted about his racist rhetoric in the past. We saw an idiotic detective get exposed for carrying a vial of OJ's blood in his pocket outside of the police precinct. There was plenty of reasons to find him not guilty. Innocence, another matter. So you can have your opinion, Faison, I can have mine. What's the problem? What's wrong with that? Do y'all know that less than 10 years later, I think it was 7 years later to be exact, after OJ Simpson was acquitted, Robert Blake, a.k.a. Beretta, remember him, the star Beretta in the 70s? Longtime actor. He was in the movie The Money Train. He was the bad guy. He was the boss for Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. That Robert Blake, Beretta. He was on trial for killing his wife. He was also acquitted. He also lost a civil suit that ordered him to pay $30 million. It bankrupted him. And he didn't have a pension from starring in the NFL like OJ did, so he just fell by the wayside. He was considered a pariah. Everybody believed he was guilty. And we didn't even see the whole trial in its entirety because the judge wouldn't allow the trial on a daily basis to be aired because she thought it would prejudice the jury based on how folks thought the jury was prejudiced during the OJ trial. So opening comments, closing arguments, and the verdict were televised, but not the day-to-day ongoings of the trial. I bring that up to say, usually when you are indicted on murder charges and there's a preponderance of evidence against you, whether you're found not guilty or not, a lot of people usually think you're guilty. It's not a crime. We ain't the ones that committed the crime. I'm not the one that did it, Faison. That wasn't me. And you're talking about the BET Awards and me bringing up something and you acting like I'm out of pocket. Well, where were you last year? When the Oscars were taking place in 2023, a month after Robert Blake, a.k.a. Beretta, had passed away. He passed away, and then Jimmy Kimmel, who was emceeing the Oscars, said this. Put this quote up on the screen for me, y'all, please, so everybody can see it for themselves. This is what Jimmy Kimmel was quoted as saying. You can go back, you can Google it, you can YouTube it, you can see it for yourself. Jimmy Kimmel spoke on this at the Oscars. And what did Jimmy Kimmel say? Just 3 days after Beretta, Robert Blake, had passed away on March 9th, he was the butt of jokes by Jimmy Kimmel at the Academy Awards on Sunday night. Quote, if you think Robert Blake should be part of the in memoriam montage, the Oscars hope quipped, text, give me a Blake. Give me a Blake to the number on your screen. Except there was no number on the screen. Just Blake, the face, appeared in neither the montage nor the extended online tribute to those who died that year. So he wasn't honored. Which brings me to my point. They actually didn't show his face. Give me a Blake. Wouldn't mention him, wouldn't show him. Not guilty on a criminal trial, found guilty, civil trial. Sound familiar? Oscars said we ain't honoring him. We're not talking about him. We're not celebrating him. We're not mentioning him with the other individuals who are so more worthy than somebody that in their eyes likely killed their wife. So me turning around and saying, yo, the BET Awards, what are you doing? Louis Gossett Jr., phenomenal actor. Clarence Avant, move-in shaker. Mr. Isley himself. How about Bill Cobbs and Ron Cephas Jones? How about those great actors and the great work that they did? Why would I want that? Faison, God forbid, what if you passed away? Do I want you mentioned in the same breath as somebody who's widely considered to be an individual that got away with double murder? I didn't sit up there and say crucify the man. I didn't say talk about him like he's garbage. I didn't say any of those things. What I said is he doesn't need to be honored. He doesn't need to be mentioned in memoriam with other people who weren't accused of what he was accused of. And for that, I'm getting all of that. And on top of it all, where do they find you? Where do they make you? So now my blackness comes into play. So let me get this straight. I'm a sellout. I'm a no good you know what. But the dude that was accused of double murder, which by the way, wasn't my major point. My major point was he didn't want any association with black people until he was indicted on double murder charges. He didn't give a shit about us. I'm not black, I'm OJ. He said that. Jay-Z got it on the 444 album. What are you talking about? I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay. We all know it. You in an uproar, all caught up in your feelings. You're supposed to be a funny man. You're supposed to be making people laugh. You're supposed to be sitting up there and entertaining us and all of this stuff. And you got your face all cringed up, looking like you ready to go ballistic over OJ? OJ? That's what? That's what got you all ruffled? OJ. That's what you want to stand on. You want to stick up for OJ. I'm not talking about you. Just your take. Your take is trash. You should be embarrassed over being angry at such a thing. You really, really should. Somebody like Cam or Mace got something to say, man, that's fine. OJ was working on their show. I understand that. What's on your mind? Don't bother answering and don't worry about it because I ain't going to pay attention to you after I finish talking about this. I'm not going back and forth with you. I got better things to do with my time. And damn it, when you on another television show or another movie, I'm going to watch because I actually like you. I like your work. And I ain't rooting for nothing against you. I'm just talking about this point. That's why you pissed? Over OJ? You really need to look at yourself, bro. Really do. Willie D. Ghetto Boys. I like Ghetto Boys. There's certain things I love God and I'm a brother, so, you know, I try to have a forgiving nature. And when I don't want to forgive somebody, I don't engage in vengeance and all of this other stuff. I just don't mess with them. I don't talk to them. It's all right, you know. So Willie D and I probably never speak in life, and that's cool. Don't know him, never met him. If I did, I'm sorry, I don't recall. Stooge, that's one of the names you called me. You called me a monkey. If you're wondering why I closed my eyes just now, it's because I did a quick prayer and I get in your ass. And I won't. You see, a lot of times people look and they look at certain people and they think you're supposed to be scared or whatever, you know. And it's not whether you can win or lose in a fight. It's not whether you can get harmed or not. It's what you're willing to get harmed for. I'm not going to engage in a back and forth, and I'm not going to incite anything. I'm not going to do that with anybody, but especially my brothers. So I'll be as respectful and as calm as I possibly can be. Was that really called for? Willie D, what am I wrong about? And if I'm wrong and you have the capability to articulate what I'm wrong about, why couldn't you just say that? Why do I have to be called out of my name like that? How do you think that helps us when you say such things about another black man? On my worst day, I would never call you that. I would never call anybody that, including somebody I hate. And we all know who that is. It's not you, Willie D. I don't know you. I'm not talking about you. Everybody know who I'm talking about when I talk about somebody I despise. I wouldn't even call him that. So that's so out of pocket. It's so juvenile. It's so uncalled for. It's so excessive. Maybe you should look in the mirror and ask yourself, does it apply more to me or you? I ain't never called no black person that. And more importantly, I don't treat black people that way just because they disagree with my take. Now, I just gave you examples in terms of OJ's situation being televised. We saw what we saw in terms of the evidence. We understood why he was found not guilty in a criminal trial. As a member of the OJ team, Carl Douglas, who worked under Johnny Cochran, came on this show not once but twice to explain. So we got that. Then we have to get to the point where I was not really talking about OJ in terms of being acquitted on the murder charges. I'm talking about all the things that came associated with him, not to mention the fact that he did not want to be a part of our community. When we talk about sellouts and stuff like that, who was a bigger one when it came to our community than OJ? He wanted nothing to do with us. Nothing. And made that very, very clear until he was indicted on double murder charges. And Johnny Cochran tipped him off to what he needed to do in order to ingratiate himself with our community and elevate the level of support that was needed. As they turned it into an issue of race, when we all know it was really about fame, because as Chris Rock once noted in his stand-up comedy, if OJ was a bus driver, his ass would have been in jail. So it was more about fame in a lot of people's eyes than it was about race. What I was pointing out was OJ didn't want anything to do with us. He had no use for us. But yet, when he gets indicted, and that same community that he embraced so much, that he treated like family, wanted nothing to do with him, he came our way, looking for support from us as black people. And my point is, that is the reason, along with everything else, why the BET Awards should not have honored him with their in memoriam segment, particularly with those other great, great names up there who were never blemished with such accusations, along with a flagrant and open desire to disassociate themselves from their very community, like OJ did. If you disagree with that, I get that. Say so. Where the monkey come from? Where the stooge comes from? Bro, I've been on national TV fighting on behalf of black people for over 25 years. You can chirp and talk all you want to. I got clips. I got evidence. When you sit up there and you look at my career and the black folks that I've extended a helping hand to and what I do for our community, what I strive to do for our community, how I always try to watch our backs. To say something like that about me, bro, I'll never talk to you in life, and you don't ever have to talk to me. But I will tell you this. If you disagreed, all you had to do was call me. I'd have came on your show. And we would have had a discussion. And I'd have put my facts up against yours, and then boom, we would have reached whatever conclusion we reached. You didn't have to go here. But you see, that's what a lot of people are doing these days. Everybody else disagree with each other. It's Jewish folks disagreeing about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, disagreeing amongst themselves. It's other folks disagreeing with stuff like that. It's white folks disagreeing with stuff like that. It's Latinos and others disagreeing with borders and all of this other stuff. We got an election coming up where there's a clear divide amongst the left and the right and all of this other stuff. The only people that call one another out our names, that denigrates in such excessive fashion where you don't even feel the need to have a conversation is us. I wish you well, bro. I truly, truly do. You do what you do, I'm going to do what I do. I meant every word that I said about OJ. He ain't want shit to do with us. We should not have wanted anything to do with him for that BET Awards. That doesn't take away from the great work Scott Mills and Connie Orlando and BET have been doing for years. I disagree with that decision. That's all. It doesn't excoriate them. It doesn't denigrate them. I disagree with that decision. Anybody that disagrees with my decision, I respect it. I ain't hurt by that. I respect it. I understand it. I'll listen to the content of what people who are worthy of being listened to have to say, and I'll take it with the seriousness it deserves and see what points they have and what points they don't. What I'm not going to do is waste my time beyond this point listening to two cats that disagreed with me and decided to attack me as a man and as a black man. Over OJ Simpson. over OJ Simpson. Stooge. I can't have my own opinions. I got to be put, the man's got to have me out there. I got to be put out there. That's the reason. Well, you got a YouTube channel. Who you think owns YouTube? Where you getting your money from? At least to some degree. When you express yourself. Faison, when you working in Hollywood, who paying you? I'm the only one working for the man. Y'all ain't. It's just black dollars emanate from everywhere, and that's what's paying you. And nobody else is putting nothing in your pocket, huh? Don't get me started. If you want me to, I can detail where you're getting your money from. Specifically. But I won't do that. We all live in America. We know what we got to deal with. We know the trials and tribulations. We know the minefields. We know the potholes. We know the obstacles. But that don't mean that opinions are bought and paid for. I have my own perspectives. I have my own beliefs. Don't blame the white man or anybody else for what I feel. I feel what the hell I feel. And I say what the hell I mean. And that is that. I hope you understand that. I hope you get it. But if not, that's on you. It's a sad, sad day. As a trained journalist, we're not here to be liked. We're not here to make friends. We're here to call it like we see it. That's our job, and that's what we're supposed to do. Even though I'm a personality now and I do commentary and all of this other stuff, the fabric of my profession is journalism. That's how I got into this business. Journalist for nearly 30 years. But my point is, and last point about this, I don't care about being liked. I understand. I understand that people are going to disagree. But I want Willie D and Faison to know, especially Willie D more than Faison, you called me a monkey and a stooge over OJ Simpson, who didn't give two shits about you, nor anyone from our community, until it was expedient and convenient for him to do so. That's why you did that. To this brother, you don't know it all. I expect a lot of things in my life. I never in my wildest dreams believed that I'd have folks turning against me because of O.J. Simpson. It's a sad day, but I'll get over it. More to come right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Transition into the NBA. Golden State Warriors have a shooter to offset Klay Thompson's departure from the team. I'll get into that. Plus, what the hell is going on with the boxer himself, Ryan Garcia? I'll fade away from this OJ subject. I have nothing more to say about that. Time to get back to the stuff that I want to talk about anyway. Back with more of the Stephen A. Smith Show in a minute. Everyone knows I demand excellence, and I'm in it to win it. So that's why I've teamed with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, to help turn my sports knowledge into some big-time money. In case you already didn't know, Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app where you choose 2, 3, or even up to 6 of your favorite players and then simply pick more or less on their projected stats. It honestly takes less time than it does for Asia Wilson to dribble up the court and hit that long-range game-winning three-point shot. Every basket, every strikeout, every goal gets bigger each and every single week. So download the PrizePicks app today and join a community of more than 3 million members. And if you do, PrizePicks will match your first-time deposit of up to $100. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. So go to prizepicks.com right now and use code SAS. My initials, of course, in case you didn't figure that out. Just use promo code SAS on PrizePicks to receive a first deposit match of up to $100, and then let the games begin. PrizePicks. Pick more. Pick less. It's really that easy. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube. As promised, let's get to the NBA, where the Golden State Warriors have started to address the loss of four-time champion Klay Thompson and future Hall of Famer, by the way. Buddy Hield is joining the Golden State Warriors as part of the sign and trade deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Pairing Hield with Steph Curry gives the Warriors the top 2 3-point scorers in the league over the past 5 seasons. In fact, Buddy Hield has hit more threes. Are you ready for this? He's hit more threes than anybody in the league during that span. That includes the greatest shooter God has ever created in Steph Curry. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. And if you look at the full screen here and you see the amount of threes this brother has hit, he's hit more threes than the one and only Steph Curry. And I'm looking at it from this standpoint. Listen, I'm not happy that Klay Thompson is gone. I'm certainly not comparing Buddy Hield to Klay Thompson. We know what Klay Thompson brings to the table as a long-range sniper. He is something special. Make no mistake about it. But the flip side to all of this is this. When you look at Klay Thompson, even though he shot 39% from three for the season, 42%, 41.5% from three-point range since the All-Star break. Some people have been saying he's not what he used to be. He's certainly not what he used to be defensively. So again, what that begs is the question, is Buddy Hield that much of a precipitous drop-off from Klay Thompson? It remains to be seen. I know the brother can shoot. And he didn't have a strong playoff series, a strong playoff performance or whatever. He hit those 6 threes against the New York Knicks in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference First Round Series. I know I saw that happen. I know what this brother can do. I know he can shoot. And if you Steph Curry and you got another shooter out there on the basketball court with you, with somebody like Draymond Green feeding you the basketball along with the Steph Currys of the world and others, that's something to pay attention to. If you're the Warriors and you're going to lose a Klay Thompson, you definitely needed to replace him with a shooter. Andrew Wiggins can score. Okay? Kuminga can score. He's proven that last year. All right, Podziemski is a real impressive rookie. Coming into his second year, he can play. But you need a shooter. If you're the Golden State Warriors, the way Steve Kerr likes them pushing the ball up the court, moving without the basketball, running the plays that he's run, you need another shooter. So it's good that they got that. I think this is a good move for the Golden State Warriors. Not the greatest move, but it's a good move. Moving on to this next subject, it involves the Los Angeles Lakers, who, by the way, failed to land Klay Thompson. That's somebody they needed. They couldn't get him in free agency because he opted to go to Dallas instead. Now Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office are trying to figure out their next move since re-signing LeBron James to a 2-year, $104 million deal just the other day. One option still on the market, supposedly, is free agent and Los Angeles native DeMar DeRozan, who spent the last few years in Chicago, who's missed the mid-range, who Kendrick Lamar teased, at his concert, could be trying to be a Laker. We know that DeMar DeRozan would love to be a Laker, but he wants to get paid, and I'm not knocking him for that. I think DeMar DeRozan would be a really, really good pickup for the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the stiffest competition is Miami. They've got some questions about Jimmy Butler. DeMar DeRozan is 34 years of age, hasn't had Jimmy Butler's injury history. It'll be interesting to see what Miami does, what DeMar DeRozan ends up doing if he goes to the Los Angeles Lakers, particularly with the money accorded to LeBron James and others. The fact they ain't trying to touch that second apron or the luxury tax situation. I doubt that he's going to end up in Los Angeles. If he were to end up there, however, even though he'd be an additive, a plus, as opposed to a liability because of his ability to score without needing LeBron James or Anthony Davis to do it for him because he's missed the mid-range, et cetera, I still think it's a little bit different because LeBron James controls the tempo and the ball. And as a result of that, if you're DeMar DeRozan, you don't want to be sitting around waiting for LeBron James to give you the ball because you're not some spot-up shooter. So to me, I think that actually the Miami Heat situation would be a lot better for DeMar DeRozan than the Los Angeles Lakers, even though I would love to see the Lakers get another bona fide scorer on the court with LeBron and with Anthony Davis, of course. But who knows what's going to happen with that. These rumors are percolating about DeMar DeRozan with the Lakers because obviously he's a part of Kendrick Lamar, he's seen in the video anyway. He was at the concert with Kendrick Lamar, all of this other stuff. So we get that, all right? That's what happened with that. Now let me get to the big story that I want to get into in the world of sports today. And that involves boxer Ryan Garcia. Once again, he's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Yet again, away from the ring, of course. The latest incident occurred during a live stream on social media where Garcia repeatedly used racial slurs against black people and even disparaged Muslims. As a result, the WBC expelled Garcia from any activity with the organization. This follows the 1-year suspension he also received from the New York State Athletic Commission after a positive test for a performance-enhancing drug. The suspension is retroactive to Garcia's April 20th decision victory over Devin Haney, which was overturned due to a no contest. Here's what Garcia's family had to say in light of the recent decision from the WBC. Quote, "Our son has recently made statements that do not align with his or our family's true character or beliefs. Our family unequivocally does not support any statements he's made regarding race or religion. These do not reflect who Ryan truly is and how he was raised. Those who know Ryan can attest to this fact. Ryan has been open about his ongoing struggle with mental health over the years, and as a family, we are committed to ensuring and encouraging that he receives the necessary help to navigate this very challenging time and address both his immediate and long-term well-being. We appreciate the continued support and prayers and compassion." He should be suspended indefinitely. There should be a disassociation with him from the sport of boxing, because the things that he's doing and the kind of trouble he finds himself in are not a byproduct of boxing. In all likelihood, it's a byproduct of alcohol and drugs. We can slice it any way we want to, but that's just how it appears to be. That's what we're looking at right now. And I think that needs to be said. I've interviewed Ryan Garcia on at least 2 or 3 occasions. Actually, I've been very fond of him. I like him a lot. Once upon a time, I felt that he had a chance to be the new face of boxing. I did make it contingent upon him being able to beat Gervonta Davis, which he did not do. He got dropped in the 2nd round and then got the fight stopped in the 6th round due to a body shot, from Gervonta Davis. And so that's where that happened. But in the end, as we look at him right now, he definitely seems to have a screw loose. And nobody is interested in being compassionate right now when you insult black people, when you insult Muslims, as he did in that video, bringing up George Floyd, talking about, calling himself a member of the KKK and all that. He does not seem in his right mind. He seems out there, and he has completely tarnished his career. Once upon a time, Ryan Garcia was absolutely positively box office. I'm not trying to imply that he's not box office now, because I think if he went into the ring, still a lot of people are going to watch him, because he's got lightning quick hands, he's got power, he's got skills, but he's got a screw loose. It's just that simple. It's not fun to watch. It's not pleasant to watch by any stretch of the imagination. But I really, really believe, more than anything, he's warped because he lost to Gervonta Davis. He was embarrassed by it, and I don't think there's anything to be embarrassed about. It was a good fight. He got caught and got dropped, got right back up, went back to fight Gervonta Davis, and not only did he do that, but you get caught by a body shot. That happens. He didn't get knocked out the way Frank Martin did. That uppercut that left Frank Martin hopeless before ultimately getting caught with a left check from Gervonta Davis that put him down, that a knockout. That's not how Ryan Garcia went out. And I know it was ultimately his win over Devin Haney was ruled a no contest. I blame Devin Haney for that. What the hell you take the fight for? He came in 3 pounds overweight. He made no efforts to honor the contract. It was supposed to be for a title shot at the 140-pound division, but ultimately he was ineligible for the belt because he came in 3 pounds overweight, and you're going to bet him $500,000 for every pound that he's overweight, and he glad you gave you the $1.5 million that he owed you for being 3 pounds overweight. Come on, bro. You the champion. You were undefeated. You should have never gave him that fight. If he's not willing to honor the clause, so be it. To fight Gervonta Davis, he had to have a weight clause, a hydration clause, all of that. Gervonta wasn't playing that mess. And I believe that Ryan Garcia feels completely hosed because he had to give in to all of those stipulations for Gervonta Davis. And he said, I don't give a damn about rules. I don't give a damn about the belt. All I care about is making sure that I leave the ring victorious, because that's what people will remember. And when it comes to Devin Haney, he's absolutely right. Because even though he cheated, because clearly he didn't honor the weight clause, and he was using performance-enhancing drugs because he tested positive for it. So there's no other way to slice that. At the end, we're going to remember him dropping Devin Haney 3 times. We're going to remember how weak and damn near helpless Devin Haney looked in losing to Ryan Garcia. And that's what we're going to hold on to, regardless of what the governing bodies say about a no contest or anything like that. So Ryan Garcia knew that, and that's why he didn't care. But he deserves the 1-year banishment, and he deserves for his family to issue the statement that they issued. And right now, if the black community and the Muslim community is pissed at him, they have every right to be with what he said. But I think that he's mentally warped because he was embarrassed because he can't get over the fact that he lost to Gervonta Davis. If Ryan Garcia had beaten Gervonta Davis, I don't think we're seeing all of this. I think we're seeing a brother that's at the top of the heat in the fight game. That's absolutely box office. And we'd be talking about who he's going to fight next. I think that's what we'd be seeing. But he lost to Gervonta Davis, and that's what this is about. Either way you slice it, the brother needs help. He really, really does. Because he does seem mentally warped. And alcohol and drugs are what people are alluding to is involved with all of this. You ain't getting any sympathy today. Not with the shit you said in that video. Maybe another day, but not today. Let's switch to the WNBA real quick because it's time to recognize my WNBA Player of the Week. Explosive moments keep happening for Las Vegas Aces Kelsey Plum. This past Tuesday against the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, she scored 34 points with 6 for 11 shooting on threes. And yesterday, she became just the 5th player to score at least 25 points with at least 6 three-pointers in their win against the Washington Mystics. Plum helped lead the Aces to their 6th straight victory in front of their 11th straight home sellout. Stephen A's WNBA Player of the Week, in case you didn't know, is Las Vegas Aces guard, the one and only Kelsey Plum. I ain't got to say anything else other than that, but this. I don't give a damn how the Minnesota Lynx, the New York Liberty, or anybody else looks. As long as the Las Vegas Aces are fully loaded and led by Asia Wilson, ain't nobody beating them. They're going to three-peat. Plain and simple. Coming up, President Joe Biden is scheduled to sit down for an interview following his disastrous presidential debate performance. Will it do anything to convince America he's ready for a second term? I'll get into that next to close out the show in a minute. You're watching The Stephen A. Smith Show over the digital airways of YouTube and, of course, listening to it over iHeartRadio. Back in a minute. Some people, not all, but some people think just putting some money aside is enough to save. Why? When you can do more with it? Not letting your money sit and collect dust. That's real saving. If you could deposit your paycheck on Cash App at no cost and watch your money grow, would you? I'm talking about collecting up to 4.5% interest on your cash. Cash App is offering high yield savings. It pays to get paid on Cash App. Deposit your paycheck on Cash App and you can earn a high yield at no cost. Here's the list of no-cost things provided by Cash App. Interest on your account, 4.5 interest paycheck deposit. Now that's something to think about. Cash App allows you to deposit your paycheck on Cash App and watch your money grow. Stop sitting on the bench with people who can't play and get into the savings game with Cash App. Deposit your paycheck on Cash App and you're not paying a cent in fees on your savings to watch your money grow and grow and grow. That's money, y'all. That's Cash App. Download Cash App from App Store or Google Play Store today. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airways of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. Before I get on out of here tonight for the weekend, I want to let y'all know something. Tonight, President Joe Biden is scheduled to give his first interview to ABC News following last week's lackluster presidential debate performance against former President Donald Trump. The primetime sit-down with the one and only George Stephanopoulos in Wisconsin comes as the president faces growing pressure from within the Democratic Party to abandon his re-election bid. Biden's team previously attributed the president's raspy voice to a cold, but on Tuesday, he blamed jet lag from recent travels overseas for his poor performance on stage. Lieutenant General Russell Honore joined my buddy, the one and only Roland Martin, on Roland Martin's very own show the other day, and had this to say about those having the audacity to call for President Biden's ouster.
If you're not going to support Biden, shut the hell up. attack the other guy. If you can't say nothing good, shut the hell up and focus on the other guy. That's what we got to do and get the vote out, because we got to get the young people excited about coming out to vote. The young people can save the democracy in the United States, and that's what we need to be talking about.
Now, General, I've never served in the military because I don't do well taking orders. But when it comes to debating, when it comes to being on the offensive, I am a firm believer of attack, attack, attack. That man stood there and lied over and over and over and over again, and you heard Biden say, hey, I might not walk as fast as I used to, I may not talk as smooth as I used to, but damn it, I tell the truth.
Respectfully to General Honoré, we're not going to shut the hell up. I'm not listening to you. I respect you. I respect your years of service. I'm certainly not being disrespectful in any way, sir. And I'm certainly won't be disrespectful to my man, Roland Martin, who I respect a great, great deal. We just spoke a few hours ago. He's out of the country. Otherwise, he would have been on this segment with me. Let me say this to y'all right now. The Democrats are going to have some serious questions to answer. They do already. As I articulated the other day, you have an abundance of publications, including the New York Times, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the Chicago Tribune, along with various others calling for the president to step out of the race. I've been on the record months ago saying that should have happened. Everybody that wants to come on now, including my buddy Areva Martin, who came on the other day, breathing fire and brimstone towards anybody that would think such a thing, get over it. Respectfully, love you, get over it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about age discrimination. Yes, he's 81 years of age. This is about making sure that Joe Biden doesn't become Joe Biden Ginsburg or Ruth Bader Biden. That's what this is about. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. We cannot, if you are a Democrat, if you are somebody who doesn't want Donald Trump in the presidency, back in the White House, if you are somebody that leans left or whatever, you do not want Joe Biden to be called Ruth Bader Biden. Remember her, former Supreme Court Justice, who refused to step away when the Obama administration wanted her to, swearing that Hillary Rodham Clinton was going to beat Trump, and she wanted her, instead of Obama, to select her successor on the Supreme Court. See how that turned out? She was wrong, Trump won, and instead of putting 2 Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court to give you a 5-4 majority, he was able to put 3 on there, which gave you a 6-3 majority, a nearly insurmountable 6-3 majority. And everybody, it could be the Kerry Washingtons, who I love, by the way, and just had the pleasure of meeting a few weeks ago. She was on social media speaking about the importance of going out there and voting and not letting Donald Trump get back into office, along with the Areva Martins of the world, along with General Honoré, along with a host of other people. Here's the reality of the situation. These kind of things, the Democrats brought on themselves, and they continue to bring on themselves. I'm not voting for Trump. I made that very, very clear. I think he's too divisive for this country. I'm not apologizing for that to anybody. I'm not getting into the politics. I'm getting into the leadership, the statesmanship, the ability to bring folks together, or at least strive to do so. I don't think he's that guy. I think he'll be on a revenge tour. I think he'll be engaged in payback throughout his presidency. And I don't believe he's going to hire the most competent people to work for him. I think he's going to hire the most loyal. I don't think this country needs that. That's me. But having said that, I'm not going to be oblivious to what we're witnessing here. The Democrats are not innocent. You clearly were lying when you talked about the cognitive abilities of the president of the United States. You clearly were not telling the truth. You were labeling everybody else as negative, witch hunting, out to get y'all, and all of this other stuff. You weren't telling the truth. We saw the debate 8 days ago. We know what we saw. It was bad. Even Joe Biden admits it was bad. Governors' meetings where he's talking about 1 minute it's a cold, another minute it's jet lag. Now the other day he told the governors he needed more sleep. Well, damn it. Ain't he running for the presidency? How you going to get more sleep? Most of us find that hard to do in our day jobs. How you going to pull that off being the president of the United States? We got to stop this. And by the way, every time people like Lieutenant General Honoré and others open their mouths, and by the way, again, respectfully, sir, please, I'm not disrespecting you in any way. Please don't take it that way. I'm saying to you, sir, when you say that, don't you realize that you're dismissing the potential potency of a Kamala Harris, of a Gavin Newsom, of a Wes Moore, of a Hakeem Jeffries? Younger, sharper, more polished. This is not disrespecting the president. President Joe Biden, if you are listening, sir, thank you for your service. I haven't always agreed with you. I still hold the crime bill against you to some degree, even though you weren't the only person. You understand what I'm saying? I remember the CBC was involved in all of that in terms of helping you have the position that you have, Congressional Black Caucus. I know. We get into all of this other stuff about school busing and things of that nature, which Kamala Harris, when she was an opponent of yours during, during the campaign, when y'all were both on the campaign trail. I mean, I get it. I haven't agreed with everything, but here's what I can't argue about. 36 years of public service in the Senate, an additional 8 years as our vice president, and 4 years as the president of the United States. Do I agree with open borders? Hell no. Do I agree with inflation? Hell no. But it's not like everything you've done is wrong. There have been some good things. Numbers just came out. 206,000 new jobs, unemployment rate at 4.1%. Economy seems in good shape. Hey, man, this is not about that. This is not about disrespecting you. It's not about dismissing you. It's about saying, thank you, sir, for your years of service. It is time for you to go. I cover sports. We do it all the time. Athletes, coaches, executives, even with some owners, it's time. It's time. And at some point in time, sir, Mr. President, isn't it about the country? It's not just about you. It's supposed to be about the country. Are you, Joe Biden, implying that at 81 years of age, admittedly, openly, even you have verbalized there has been a loss in your pep, in your step? Even you said that. Since you said that, sir, and you know that about you, Gavin Newsom's not better? Kamala Harris is not better? Wes Moore's not better? Hakeem Jeffries is not better? Or that's just to name a few. I'm sure there are others. You know how I feel about Michelle Obama. In my perfect world, she'd be the candidate, but I know she wants nothing to do with politics. My point is, sir, there are other people within your very own party, within your very own cabinet, that you could support, that you could throw your weight behind, who would actually do better than you on a debate stage against Donald Trump, who would actually do better than you on the campaign trail against Donald Trump. And all they have to do is mimic your record in terms of what they vote and what they push forth towards legislation. And boom, they'd have it. What's the problem? What's the problem? We got to stop acting like all of this is wrong. And if you think that I'm lying, if you think that I'm wrong, Mr. President, President Joe Biden, could you please take a look at these two clips? One of you from 4 years ago, the other of you from 8 days ago. Please take a look at this.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire. Every single one. Started off his campaign coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists. He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims. He has moved around and made everything worse across the board. He says about the poor boys, last time we were on stage here, he said, I told them to stand down and stand ready. Come on. This guy has a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
That was 4 years ago. Now let's go to 8 days ago.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person
eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Can y'all at least be willing to admit how hard that is to watch? Tell the truth, y'all. We were all watching that debate 8 days ago. We had to turn away from the TV. Did you find yourself getting off your couch and walking to your kitchen just to hear so you didn't have to look? Ladies and gentlemen, that was just the sound. That wasn't the visual. I'm talking about in terms of the visual stuff when he wasn't speaking at all. Anthony Scaramucci went on Chris Cuomo's show, according to Chris Cuomo, and said, watching Biden look at Trump while Trump was talking was tantamount to watching someone in a nursing home waiting to be fed applesauce. Do you understand how bad that is? I respect our president. I wish him nothing but the best. But if you're trying to win, you got to know when it's time to hand the baton to somebody that just may be better, rather than you being convinced that approaching 82 years of age, you are that dude yourself. This ain't about what you've done all of these years. This is about us believing that you can do it for 4 more years, starting next year, not even now. Got to get on out of here. Make sure y'all see that interview with George Stephanopoulos tonight on ABC. I got to get on out of here. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. God bless. I'll see you Monday. For iHeartRadio, for YouTube, this is the Stephen A. Smith Show. Signing off. Until next time. Peace and love.